all of this will come to light on May 18th. We will find out. But Tyson, by going with that date, the whole team agreeing to that date, they must feel that they'll be ready for that.
Pro boxing fans here in London, it's fight week. Sheeraz, Williams, finally here. Obviously it took a little bit of a postponement. We're getting a few postponements in boxing, but that's life. Sahni, with your hype drink, how's things?
Things are good, my friend. Thank you for bringing it in before I crowbarred it into the conversation. But yeah, good to be here. Queensberry's first show of 2024. An absolute cracker to start off with. Hamza Sheeraz, 18-0, 14 knockouts, 12 knockouts in a row. He looks almost too good to be true because he ticks every box. He looked great at the presser. He speaks well, hits very hard, in a blue chip division. So many boxes being ticked there. And then it's a case of, okay, can he do it at the next level? And this is the next level. Liam Williams is the key to big world title fights. It could be the key to Chris Eubank Jr., something like that. If he can't get through this door, he has to regroup. He's still young, he can come again. But we'll find out a lot about him on Saturday. I can't wait.
Shows, in regards to boxing, that you've got to take the fight that comes at a time, because only a couple of months ago, even half a year ago, we were talking about Denzel Bentley and Hamza Sheeraz. At the moment, unfortunately, that's not on Hamza's case or in Hamza's sort of way right now. How important is it that whilst there's a lot of noise, and we're talking about maybe Hamza being in the 5 versus 5 in Saudi or whatever else, or Chris Eubank Jr., that Saturday night Liam Williams, experienced opponent, that he gets the job done?
Honestly, and even the way we're talking about Liam Williams, I've heard him referred to as that, what you said, like an experienced opponent. Hey, what if this guy at 31, which isn't old at all, by the way, younger than most world champions out there, at 31, he fancies it? If you look at his training clips on Instagram, he looks like he fancies it. He's back with Gary Lockett as well. That's the team that he started with. That hungry machine that was Liam Williams. The guy that was tearing through everyone appears to be back. And people are probably reading into the Eubank fight how easily he went down from a few shots. But he says that he had issues going into that fight. And that wasn't really him. So if you take him at his word, then he's still an absolute monster. And he is by far the biggest test of Hamza Sheeraz's career. By far.
Hamza, like you said, on that top table, looks confident, dresses confidently, has a smile on his face generally. But we know that 2024 is going to potentially bring up some huge fights. You mentioned some of them there. Maybe, I know he's targeting Eubank. I think Eubank's sort of talking about the fights right now, but there's a fight maybe in Saudi against Amon Williams that is exciting for fans. What direction, I don't know, not for you to say, but as a boxing fan, what would you like to see Hamza Sheeraz in?
I think it depends on how Saturday goes. So if he knocks out Liam Williams, he can have a look at Chris Eubank and say, look what I've just done. You didn't do that. I know you had him over a few times, but actually when that fight was finishing, he was coming on quite strong. Look what I've just done to him. That's the sort of thing that gets the attention of someone like Chris Eubank Jr. That for me is a beautiful, glamorous fight. And it's not like we know who Eubank's going to fight next. We know he's going to fight this guy. We don't actually know. There's been all this Conor Benn stuff, which seems to have gone away now. So I don't know what the options are for Eubank Jr. right now, which are big fights. Maybe it is Hamza Sheeraz in this country. Could be an absolute cracker. But, again, depends on how he looks against Liam Williams. If he beats him on points, maybe it becomes less attractive to Eubank. If he loses, it's off the table. But a solid win, knocking the guy out, says a lot.
Talk to me about that possibility in Saudi, though. Amon Williams is a name that obviously they're both ranked, high enough in world rankings right now. That makes a very interesting fight. We saw Amon Williams was it last week or the week before, with a knockout that was very impressive. What do you make of Amon as a fighter?
I think he's very good, and clearly Matchroom are backing him and getting behind him for a reason. I think he was one of theirs that they got quite early doors, didn't they? So he's clearly a good fighter, clearly very well schooled, clearly hits very hard. But I believe Hamza Sheeraz could probably beat any Williams, but he's got to come through Liam first before he gets onto Ammo. It's a tough fight, most certainly, but I can't imagine it's one that Hamza would shy away from.
Do you want to quickly talk about other boxers before I let you go? I know they're sort of wrapping up the stage, and which means that they're all going to kick us out at some point. Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, and I'm sure you've answered questions on this before, but I do want to ask you, do you feel like, not from your point of view, because Deb, we know you're obviously Queensberry and side with Fury, but can you understand the perspective from boxing fans that maybe this could be advantage Usyk, that scar tissue might be weak leading up to the fight. Usyk could possibly target that eye on fight night, look to open it up and then sort of take it from there. Do you feel like it is advantage Usyk with this cut?
I don't know, because if Tyson feels like he's going to be ready, if Frank feels like Tyson's going to be ready, if the whole team are preparing for him to be ready for that date, then they must have every confidence that he'll be going in there ready. Will Usyk target that eye? Probably. Will Tyson target the body? Probably. I think they're both going to be targeting different things in there. I don't necessarily agree that it's advantage Usyk. But all of this will come to light on May 18th. We will find out. But Tyson, by going with that date, the whole team agreeing to that date, they must feel that they'll be ready for that. So you've got to trust them on that.
Actually, I'm not sure you're going to be able to answer this question. I was hoping Frank would come today. Obviously, he's probably going to be around for the next day or two. Something interesting from Igis Klimas, who's done a couple of interviews from the press conference that they did in Spain a couple of days ago, said he's hearing that relations between Queensberry and Fury and that is not great right now. Is that something something there's an interview he did with either Boxing King Media or Boxing News 1 or 2 that he's hearing that the relations are not that good between you guys. Is there any truth in that?
So look, I have heard nothing of the sort, and I don't think anyone would tell me if that was the case. I highly doubt it. I also saw him put up a video on Instagram the other day, when he was calling everyone out, tagged Frank in, so I would imagine it's probably nonsense, but truth is, you've got to ask Frank for that. I can't imagine it's the case though.
Fair enough. Just a final one before I let you go, and I do want to talk about that Instagram post. A lot of people are saying, listen, maybe Tyson's towards the end of the road now. He's going to naturally getting on a little bit, as we all do. But he said, no, listen, I'm not retiring. I'm not going nowhere. I want Usyk twice, I want AJ twice, and then get Ngannou and maybe fly into sunset at that point. Can you see Tyson lasting another 5-6 fights?
Yeah, absolutely, and probably even beyond that, because the money's there to pay him for these fights. The money is there to make these fights. I think he's clearly got an affiliation and a love with Saudi Arabia. They love him, he loves them, and it feels like there's big fights out there for him. This is encouraging, right? When he's putting out these videos talking about how he wants to fight this guy and then this guy and then this guy, this is all very, very good. So we should be encouraged by this and we should be loving it. And I don't see why it wouldn't happen. I really don't.
Actually, I do want to talk about another fighter with Queensberry, Daniel Dubois. Saw his Instagram post. I think Daniel's is safe to say...
the daddy.
I think it's safe to say he's grown in confidence in front of the camera. I think it's safe to say that. I spoke to him when I was in Saudi and I said, listen, from the time me interviewing you over the years, you've improved a lot, and it seems like he's got that confidence in him. We saw that Instagram post.
Yeah.
What did you make of it? He's ready, man. He's ready.
He's ready. Listen, every weight division needs a father figure, and he says he's the daddy of the heavyweight division. I love it. I love this new Daniel Dubois, who's just talking down to camera, calling out a heavyweight that nobody calls out. Do you remember when he needed a final eliminator, Filip Hrgovic, to fight for that mandatory spot? And they went down the IBF list and everyone was like, no, I ain't fighting him. No. Big Bang Zhang stepped up because he's a G and he said yes. But everyone said no. Daniel Dubois is out here just calling out Filip Hrgovic. I love that. I love that energy. His tail's up. He's confident. He seems in a good place. I love that video with Don Charles just sort of brooding behind him as well. So look, hopefully it happens. He wants to fight Filip Hrgovic. It's also a fight that makes sense. IBF wise, Hrgovic is number 1. That number 2 spot's vacant. 3 and 4 are taken up. Anthony Joshua's got a fight with Ngannou. Parker's got his fight with Zhang. Number 5 is the daddy. So the daddy's waiting, and he wants another son. Could Filip Hrgovic be his son? I don't know. Hard fight. I don't feel like Filip Hrgovic is anyone's son. So great fight.
Listen, I've got to say, him and Don sort of pairing up made him like a WWE sort of pairing. It's quite interesting, to be fair. Last one before I do let you go, I'm talking about sort of WWE antics. I want to talk about John Fury, Call Froch, obviously don't like each other, but now they're saying this, let's do it for charity, let's get into the ring. What do you make of that? Is it just a bit of fun and games? Is it just what do you make of the whole situation?
It's just more it's just more news in boxing, isn't it? More stories, more content for us to digest. I love these videos. Carl Froch is doing very well out of his YouTube channel, talking about the Furies, and John firing back via Roman Furies. Instagram as well is all just great fun. One of the most entertaining things for me in boxing, not everyone will agree, is John Fury talking down the camera, challenging somebody to a fight, or sort of shouting the odds. I find it so entertaining. So long may it continue. I can't imagine they'll actually fight, but please continue calling each other out. It's great fun, great entertainment.
Sahni, always a pleasure, mate. I'll see you over the next couple of days, and on fight night, the last plug for Hype, I take it.
Oh, sorry, mate. Was that in your way? No, sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up like that.